We're on the northernmost edge of Brisbane.
And remember, it's Brisbane, not Brisbane.
Yeah, it is Brisbane.
Otherwise, y'all look like a tourist. So, all right, let's get things going for the night here. I've stalled long enough. Welcome everyone to episode 69, entitled "Nice." I mean, perform. And now, my intentions are as pure as the wind-driven snow.
It's number 69. What do you expect?
I expect peak performance from all of you.
I expect all of us to
God
be...
dang it, I forgot my blue pill.
Performance!
Everybody's cams froze for me. Am I still live to you guys?
You are not
No,
live.
you were not.
No.
I don't have a Mordecai,
much for
and
you
I
to
do
handle.
not have a Celine.
Okay. So I think
I can
my
fix it
thing
on my...
reset on its own, and the
There
first
we go.
one that I got was Fluffy, so...
There we go.
Do. And casting and biggin on all your tokens here. All right. Where we had left off, and I'll give a general refresher here. Was, well, most recently, you found yourselves back in a damp, wet cavern that you're still walking upon the water that's located in it, although there do not seem to be any of these little fish still, which is good. And just prior to that, you were in the middle of the Islandian desert with miles and miles of sand all around you. The sun was continuing to just always, hover where it was. There was a camp that was mostly on fire, or it was kind of smoldering at this point. And it was here that it seemed another Fey trap had been triggered. And this one was invoking the nightmare that Casimir had experienced when he passed through the portal. As you all... Okay, there we go. Random encounter, apparently. So, upon exploring it, we found that there were versions of yourselves that were actually sand dogs. As their kind of plate-like head retracted back, exposing your faces inside of the mouth. In what I hoped was a very disturbing imagery for you all. If only I could have drawn it, but I did my best to describe it. As we had, Mordecai? Sandamir? No. Yeah, Sandamir, right? Instead of Casimir? We had Bright Dog. Bright Dog?
I don't know.
It was Sandlian.
It was, I do remember Investawoo Jacob Dogwaters. Or was it Sandwater?
Sandamir got banished.
Sandwater.
So,
Oh, yeah.
So we never really had
That's true.
Sandamir.
Yeah, that's true.
I think it was Kaz Sandmere or something like that.
But you figured out that the only way to really affect these versions of yourselves were to affect the versions of yourselves, which... Come on, bud. Get that off camera. You're killing me.
Episode 69, off to a great start.
Yeah, there we go.
Hey.
So yes, we had a bit of a PvP row going on, which ended with a merry frolic through the sand by Casimir wearing Celine's face, and was quickly sucked into the sand and just sort of beaten into oblivion by investigator Jacob Stillwaters, who was getting quite a
I let him win.
quite an exercise from it. Now, as that had as that had apparently resolved whatever this thing was looking for, you were in the cavern, and who but your beautiful blue, slightly glowing fox, Jack,
we hate.
just sort of was chuckling and giggling and had an absolutely wonderful time. And as that happened, though the crystals that were probably holding these drones that were fighting the Fomorians that were ahead of you are, you know, they aren't really as active or whatnot. They seem to respond to Jack's chuckling as they sort of like strobed a little bit along with the laughter. And it released a kind of a, I don't know, just a satisfaction, a mood over all of you. And in so doing, you all had received the benefits of a short rest. As Jack was tickled, well, I'd say tickled pink, but he's still rather bluish. Yeah, this is where we're picking up then, is you're here, and there is still a tunnel going ahead of you. This was not a dead end, even though you were hit with a fork in the tunnel, Mordecai. If you remember, there were two. One smelled of desert spices, and the other of buttered cinnamon popcorn. But here, I will put the ball in your all's courts, and you can discuss. You can do what you need to do. But yeah, if any of you need to spend hit dice or whatever you recover on a short rest, you may do so. You can continue to theorize and discuss what you're going to do, where you're going to go.
Sticking my scythe through Jacob's chest was exceptionally cathartic. I feel much better.
So long as it wasn't real. Right?
It was
Nobody's
real
hurt?
enough.
Is everybody okay?
Yeah.
Okay enough. I'm actually at full at the moment, so
Alright.
what with all the healing.
It wasn't too bad. I think it's good that we got some of those things let out.
Yes.
Fair.
Just not do it too often.
Yeah. Not
Might
conflict with each other.
Might take a few more hit dice.
Delicious, delicious
That
hit
should be
dice.
fine.
So are we pressing forward?
Well, we don't really have much of a choice now, do we?
Unless we
What do
want
we
to go
do?
back the way we came.
Yeah,
I go
did
into
we-
the
we-
other tunnel? Let's not.
Yeah, did we see any tunnels rejoining from where we came through? Did we see any signs of Fomorians coming back together? Or
There is signs of battle in this cavern. Yes. Now, since we just sort of like ended with you remanifesting in a cavern and not in a desert, there are several more Fomorians who are dead. There are just corpses of Fae that are kind of floating in the water. Some of them are just sort of smashed into the walls as well. So it does look like some Fomorians had come down this way, because if you recall, there was evidence that they went down either or both sides of the fork. And that further down the hallway, if you were to continue walking in this direction, you see a ruined Fey body. It looks like it might have been emerging from a crystal, and a Fomorian just sort of like crushed it. So it's still in the crystal, and its fluids are acting as glue to keep the crystal shards still together.
okay. But did we see any signs of the two groups of Fomorians rejoining each other?
No, there's been no two tunnels coming back together.
This place is also filled with illusions. We never know what's real and what's not.
Yeah, no, it's remarkably uncomfortable.
I don't like this place, but moving forward.
Forward, okay. You can go back if you wish. There is still the tunnel that was behind you to go back to the fork.
We've come this far.
Okay.
We're still alive. We've come this far.
Mordecai declares going forward. Do you all agree?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Of course, of
going
course.
forward is.
All right. Where is my watery tunnel? Alrighty.
Oh boy, what's awaiting us next?
Who knows?
Whatever it is, it's probably gonna suck.
I have no idea. For some strange reason, I'm in the mood for popcorn.
What is the marching order now? Do you all still want to keep it like this, where
First,
With
we,
him,
we have a front line? Jasper and Celine in the mid, and then Casimir is just right up the rear? Okay.
With a
I
bright.
figured on that.
Yeah, I'll go in the front too.
Okay.
Alright, so it'll be Bright, so Bright,
same
Mordecai.
marching order.
Yeah, same marching order.
All right. Let's see.
Wow, the camera's actually really picking up the red today.
I would like both Bright and Jacob to make perception checks then. Mordecai's a big old cheaty head and is going to get this for free.
Active perception of 25, y'all.
Yeah.
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 Typical for my perception rolls.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. That's a natural one.
Unfortunately,
That's
this humidity's just doing a number on your floof, so you're kind of, I don't know, maybe you're just kind of concerned. And however, with a 14,
Floofs are in my eyes.
Jacob, you see movement ahead as the cavern that you're walking through. Remember, we're going down the up staircase here. You do see movement ahead, though it's not giant in size. Now, to you, this is going to be very difficult to see, very shadowy.
Dancing lights.
And Mordecai, what you end up seeing are some people ahead of you. You can see that they're medium-sized creatures, not large, and they just turn the corner. Like, so as you're entering the tunnel, you're catching these things just moving out of sight. But either they don't hear you or see you, and they're walking forward with, not like, who's back there?
Humanoid shaped like us, or humanoid shaped like the Fey things?
Not lanky insectoid. They would be what you would consider to be more normal humanoid dimensions.
I don't like this. I don't like this at all. We're following Fomorians who are also transformed people, who also had people followers who may be friendly, but then again, it could be an illusion and could be out to kill us, and so I'm not taking any chances. I'm staying with the group, and we're walking together. But I am telling everybody.
Okay.
Oh, we don't know who they are. They could be, maybe some of the Fomorians turn back into people again, or
Maybe that's ideal.
I don't know. I mean, it seemed like they were more on our side than opposed to us, so it's probably better for us to have them in big, powerful form. But it's not necessarily them. I mean, like you said, it could be an illusion. It could be, maybe we're like looking down a hall of mirrors and we're just seeing ourselves from behind. I don't know.
This place is weird. Weirder and weirder the farther we go. Just keep your eyes out.
Hey, I'll try to roll better next time.
Good plan.
We've
All right,
just kinda
team.
got in the way. So slowly moving forward.
Okay. Tap, tap, tap on the water as you continue to walk, and it roils underfoot. Another reminder for you, Mordecai, that despite you being in your mushroom shape, the sunlight did not seem to affect you. Nor does walking over this. It looks like water. It's moving like water. However, it's not affecting you like moving water would.
Right.
Whether that's because of your transformation or you're really paranoid that things are illusions in here for some reason. But, you know,
Quite.
tis what it tis.
And because moving water makes me violently ill. So
I could check it for magic if you want to spend 11 minutes.
you probably would have detected that when you were doing stuff in the other rooms, wouldn't you?
Never really.
Never really kind of looked into that, huh?
Not really. Yeah.
I imagine everything would be magic in here.
No, but I can get a better. I mean, I can identify it. I don't have to just use detect magic. And know exactly what's going on with it.
That's fair.
But it's probably just part of the weird like time not passing kind of thing too.
Right. That's what I'm assuming. That
Or
would
maybe
really
things
be
just
the
work different for
confusion.
you in here. I mean, it is not the same. I mean,
I am
you
kind
know,
of mushroom faced.
yeah, but that's probably not it.
It's weird, but it's not hurting anything, so it can wait.
Okay, then it can wait.
Okay. March, march, march. As you're continuing around. And, continuing through the mostly not, sometimes dimly lit cavern. You keep your dancing lights going for the benefit of Jacob. I mean, really for everyone, because, you know, darkness is dim to you, but dim is still disadvantage on perception. And you only see in black and white. So the light helps everyone, technically. It's just that you can operate without it a little easier. And you find that there are 3 Fomorian corpses. However, these ones are they do appear quite dead. These ones, though, are different because it doesn't seem that they've just fallen in combat. They do bear some signs of, you know, being cut and whatnot by insectoid, like Fey-style claws or these natural weapons and bites, punctures and slashes, where the Fomorians seem to be dealing the bludgeoning damage by just going, "I must break you," and crushing them. These ones are slumped against the side of the cavern. 2 on your right, 1 on your left. And they're partially immersed in the water, and they're just sort of slumped with their heads down. But there seems to be no particular, like, a skull caved in or a throat cut or something that is obviously a major injury to them.
I will proceed forward, trying to maybe get a bit more detail. Looking at these, and we confirm they are corpses, yes?
Confirm no, strongly suspect yes.
Oh, time for confirmation.
Okay.
Confirmation.
I'm more careful as to where I stand. Maybe some kind of ancient trap, or maybe, I don't know, strange gases. Who knows?
Okay, I'll cast Detect Magic while he's pondering about that. It's a ritual, so.
Okay, 11 minutes.
But if something else happens in between then,
Sure.
I don't have a problem dropping it.
Okay. Inspector, are you going to go to the one that's just closest to you? Boop, like here?
Seems to make the sense.
Okay. There is a third one. I just didn't draw it, but there we go.
Well done.
All right. Would you like to approach this medically or investigatively?
Investigate it first, medical second.
All right.
I would like to assist.
All right. Nurse Mordecai comes over. Well, you're not nurse yet. You're deputy, and then you'll be nurse. All right. So with a 19, as you have advantage, thanks to Deputy Mordecai. These Fomorians, the two that you see here, are wearing scraps of the cathedral guard that were in the city, and all three. I mean, looking, this is more of a broad one. All three are these guard type. This one in particular bears similar markings to the others. It looks like there has been some fighting. There is evidence as well of perhaps magical healing, as the Fomorian flesh seems to have been rapidly sealed over in many places. So a lot of the damage you're seeing, or the blood, is simply the cloth or the armor that has taken the hits, been scratched, or had old blood on it. The bodies themselves, however, have been at least healed and put, without, again, doing any sort of major, internal autopsy. It looks like they've been healed along the way. From your experience investigating murder scenes, Investigator Jacob Stillwaters, there's no clear... Even with Mordecai's help, you two are going over, you're not finding anything that is the clear end of these things. They're slouched against the wall, almost like they just died in their sleep if they were here taking a nap or something. They're definitely dead. No breathing, no twitching around or anything, no pulse. I will say their eyes have been ruined, though. But that is probably not the cause of the death.
That's strange. Every other one so far that we have had seen has had external injuries that would cause death.
This
Correct.
could still be part of that. Maybe they died from psychic damage as a result of a trap. Like we've been in.
Possible. Yeah.
They hope their brains melted out of their ears.
Yeah.
I'd
No, I
hate to
mean,
have
I
that.
wouldn't hope
I'd
for
hate to
that.
see that. No.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
That's terrible.
It may sound it, but the reality of the situation is that we are very slowly running out of energy. Conserve the better.
Right. Exactly.
So if they're dead, that's better for us because it means they won't come back and we won't have to fight them.
I don't think we were planning on fighting any Fomorians. I mean, you created them. If they
It's
wanted
like-
to fight us, they would have done it already.
That's true.
Yeah, I think they're just exacting vengeance first. What happens after that? Well, I don't know.
I'm trying to end up thinking if this reminds me of anything, but nothing's coming to mind. Though everybody else is screaming about something about psychic damage and what have you.
Mm-hmm.
Usually if you ended up here running into a body with no clear signs of death, the first thing that comes to mind is poison.
So be that.
Poison or head trauma, but there's no trauma.
We haven't
Or-
seen any signs of the Fae using poison, but we do know they use a lot of. They put the whammy on you.
Yeah.
So,
They attack your
Just
brain.
based on the situation that we're in.
Poison. I don't feel funny, so...
Do you
good.
have any sort of a kit or something to try and test or investigate for poison?
I probably have it at Green Shield, but it wasn't something I would have expected to bring out here, so I'm not going to BS my way and say, yes, of course.
Okay. Okay, I didn't know if any of you had like an herbalism kit or some sort of like a detective kit or something like that to non-magically anyway, because I mean, magically there's detect poison and other things, but okay.
I have my calligraphy set. I don't think it would be useful though.
Well, you could probably use a fountain pen, like you jab it in and then you draw. So you could take a blood draw with one of your fountain pens, I guess, but that wouldn't really,
I would never use a fountain pen for that. That's horrible.
That sounds like a bad use. I'd rather use one of my tinkering tools if we're gonna draw something. But
Oh, I meant you were just gonna draw blood. I mean, you were just gonna make a little splat, yeah. And so you got to use your calligraphy for that.
Picture.
Yeah, draw
okay.
draw clearly. That's what I meant the whole time.
Of course.
good job.
All right, so on this investigation, we'll say that your ritual completes bright, as there's nothing. I mean, Jacob would want to be thorough. Mordecai, therefore, you are also being roped into being thorough. Bright, then you complete your ritual, and
I'm so glad they're all being thorough. I get to be thorough too.
yeah, teamwork. I would like you to make an Arcana at advantage along with your ability to detect magic. Ooh, 26.
26.
Nice. Where you are, despite everything happening, is not showing up as magic, even though it should, but it's not. And this is, I mean, there are several theories that can come to mind, things that you were taught in the wizard school, let alone that you've experienced. This is, if everything's magical, nothing's magical and stands out, or this is, it's all been cloaked in some ways. The Fae are tricksters. And so while things are obviously happening, it would seem as if nothing is happening too. But yeah, the water, the cavern, it's everything is telling you that this is magical. This should be magical. Your common sense. I mean, if that applies down here, which is another caveat, your brain will tell you. Your brain is very devious, right?
Wish I had it under better control.
And another way that then you can rationalize this as these thoughts are manifesting and just firing through your noggin might be that when something is magical in an instance like this, it is just natural, as the magic is what is supposed to be. There's nothing outside the magic to then be compared against being magical. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does.
And this could then indicate you are in some realm that is comprised of magic. There is theories of a place called the Feywild, which is some fairy tale location that must be true. Ooh, question mark? So there you go. That's what you get.
Well, that's good news and bad. I mean, on the one hand, it means that that I can still produce useful information, because it'll still only trigger. Oh, let me ask you this: is it triggering on the things that we have that I know are magical, like Slade's Sunblade, for example?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Your magical things are magical.
Okay, so that's good. That means it's still kind of useful, because it means we can still, detect things that have been changed magically. We just won't. It's like radar. Does anybody know what radar is? It's a gnomish word.
Quick, what does it stand for?
There's no direct translation, but it doesn't. It only picks up the things that you want it to pick up. It doesn't get distracted by like the ground and stuff. So that's good.
During this time, Mordecai is also going through his things and remembers that he has a potion of psychic resistance.
Okay.
Oh, that could be really useful.
That actually comes in handy
Does
now.
somebody want this right now? Should I hang on to it, or does somebody want this right now?
Well, there's basically
How long
lots
does
for
it
an hour.
last? I mean,
I believe it's
given
like an
that-
hour.
given that Celine's water walk isn't worn off yet, my guess is that the potion will last the whole time we're in here. So anybody that wants to drink it now, it's probably pretty safe to do it.
Whoever wants it.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Hey.
No one else did. Yeah.
I don't want it.
All right.
Yeah,
And
Casimir.
Casimir.
Cheers.
I like that. I like that a lot.
I don't know exactly how long it lasts. I think it's an hour, but
All right.
I
Casimir
have resistance to psychic damage.
Casimir happily guzzles down anything Mordecai will give him, and you are presumably you are presumably you have resistance to psychic damage. Is that correct?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Nice. Yep.
Where can I write this down? I'll just put in chat.
Yeah, I'm not gonna delete it from my inventory until we know it wears off. So
Okay. Would Celine or Casimir like to do anything in this time as well, or? I mean, you can just
there's
sit and
very
rest.
little
That's
I
fine.
can do at the moment. So yeah, I'll just sit and rest.
Okay. So the initial, the crime scene, the logistical information, the forensic, like the crime scene examination goes off. You have your initial determination. Of course, I mean, you could just sit here for 10 hours and continue to examine and look for minute details. So you can either continue to do that, or you said that you had some interest in doing a medical exam.
Yeah, sure. I'm pretty sure I already rolled that.
Oh, did you? Oh, shoot.
The
yeah,
9
I'm
and the
sorry.
9.
Oh, the 9 and the 9. All right.
Oh, if he needs help doing some medical stuff, I could take a crack at it.
Well, this was already. I mean, not that you can in this case, but to resolve things one by one here, I'm going to resolve the stack. Another unit of time is spent as Mordecai and Jacob are now willing to probe a little deeper, to do poke a finger, make sure things are okay, check for eye movement, or if the one remaining.
Look for cavity searches.
Wait, are you doing that, or are you having your nurse doing that?
Leave this to the professionals.
Sure.
Indicating the level of thoroughness he's willing to go through.
Very well
Not that
then.
it helps. We know the result.
No, well, I don't know. We'll see. Jacob, if you're willing to, if you're willing to go shoulder deep here, then we'll. These are giants. You have several cavities you can explore, one of which is a ruined eye socket from an abnormally large eye.
Fantastic.
You might be able to get a couple fingers into the ear. It's...
Definitely around the base.
there's the mouth as well. You could just kind of...
Yep. Be careful that it doesn't accidentally close down on my arm.
Yes, that would be... I guess, Mordecai, you can hold the jaw open just in case. You wouldn't want... You wouldn't want, like, rigor mortis to set in and suddenly the jaw clench up and, you know, Jacob to lose an arm.
That'd be the worst.
All right. Question, have any of you seen the movie City Slickers?
I have. There's also a guidance for anyone who needs it for the next check.
Sure,
Because,
yeah.
I mean, it's a cantrip, so I can just spam it as many times as necessary
All right.
on whoever.
So, Jacob, Mordecai's holding the mouth open, and you reach in, and you know, you're feeling just to make sure that maybe there's no, I don't know, if it was a poison, maybe it would have, I don't know, like liquefied something, or maybe it would have, if it was an acid or something internal.
The tongue or the internals, the closing off the throat, expecting that sort of thing, yes.
And there's something, like, way in the, make it athletics, because you really are going to have to push in there. Mordecai, the jaw kind of, like, gives a crack on one side. As he's,
And,
like, he's
you'll have
really...
a D4 too, if you wanna try and roid out and really get your fist in there. 19.
Okay.
Expected.
There does seem to be something that is... It's not the tongue. There is something, though, that's, like, caught in the throat of this giant. I guess, I don't know, could have choked, I guess. But you're able to grab it, and you start to... Unfortunately, you lose your wristwatch in there, but...
That was a gnomish timepiece.
That kindly couple that operates the restaurant in Green Shield gave it to you. But
I'll be back for you.
So you grab on and you pull out something that is like it's like a big semi-translucent globule. It's not snot, although it kind of has the consistency of like a big old loogie.
Is it currently burning my hand?
No, actually. It's kind of squishy. It's maybe about the size of what we in our real world might consider to be about a basketball.
Okay. I'm out of my depth here. I'm man enough to admit that. So, does anybody know what this is? Shoves it right in Bright's face.
Well, real quick, Jacob, if I were to ask you, do you prefer numbers of the higher scale or lower scale? Which numbers would you prefer?
Come on, I need you.
Well, it was a group of
I'm not sure what it
musicians.
is. I think
I
it could be a very
appreciate it.
small dog. I'm not sure.
There was a group of musicians I appreciated back in the day. I believe they were called Cypress Mound. They often ended up saying something about the high, so we will go high.
Very well. All right. So, Jacob, you're holding this thing, you're contemplating it, and you're just getting ready to go like, oh, Bright, this is disgusting. What is this? And that classic, like, oh, this smells. Oh, it smells. Why did I smell that? So you to invoke that that natural reaction that apparently all humanoids share, regardless of stature. And as this happens,
The fluffy
one
pupper.
moment. All right. Mordecai, does an 18 hit you?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't think I want it to hit me though. Shield.
Sure.
Casting shield.
Okay. I presume an 18 no longer hits you?
No.
All right. So you're holding this thing open, and Jacob slurps out this big old like snot booger thing, though it is more translucent here, and he's holding it and like just getting ready to turn around and ask Bright, and as this happens, this thing just sort of like extends, like almost like when you're pulling apart like a mozzarella stick, and just sort of like it goes right for your face. And in a moment, you just whatever your shield looks like, and it just splorts against your shield. As the rest of the gob like leaves Jacob's hand and sort of like rubber bands up to meet it, and it falls into the water at your feet because it doesn't have the benefit of water walk. And it is very hard to see in the water.
I don't like that. I don't like that thing came at me. I am glad I've been studying.
It's some kind of biological defense mechanism.
Something. Did not look okay. I don't like it. We should probably get moving and not look for more of those.
Maybe we should look for them and find out what they are. Whatever they are, they probably killed the Fomorians. And
Perhaps.
I don't want one. I definitely don't want one. And I don't know why the Fomorians would have swallowed it, so, yeah, I think we have to be careful.
I think they had a choice.
Might not
Or,
have.
possibly, they ended up going into the mouth post-mortem.
So possible.
That's how they breed. In which case, they go after whatever cadaver's internals that they can find.
Mm-hmm.
And given our...
Technically, I'm a walking cadaver.
This is true,
Well,
Jacob. You can
know
use
somebody
bugs.
loves you here, Deputy Silverleaf.
You can use bugs to determine time of death in some cases because they infest only a corpse after a certain amount of time, certain amount of festering.
I could handle it, no problem. Didn't do a thing. Or maybe it targets undead Fomorians. But then why not us?
I mean, the Fomorians,
These ones are dead.
they're not like us. It could be, or well, they're not like you. They're closer to me.
I'm
Size to
going to
side.
check the mouth of the others, now that I know what I'm looking for.
I'm taking a step back at this point. I'm not getting any closer.
I don't want to get involved.
Sure.
Not physically.
Jacob, so we have this moment of discussion. This blob thing kind of like disappears into the water that's going beneath your feet, and you want to go explore the others, and this is when all three of the Fomorian bodies just start to like kind of shake and bulge and make all sorts of juicy noises as they're convulsing. And all around you, you don't have to so much go and look for them as they have come out looking for you, as a lot of these globules are coming out of the ruined eye, are like pouring out of the ear. A couple of them are coming apparently from the rocks that they're sitting on. The rocks. And this is what's gonna happen.
Oh.
Oh no.
Mordecai.
Mm-hmm.
Mordecai, two of them come flying at you, but you're able to kind of like do a little dance out of the way, and they splort against the cave wall behind you, where they seem to stick and pulse.
Don't like it.
Casimir, does a 17 hit you?
I don't believe so. No.
Okay. So 2 more launch out towards you, Casimir. Bright, I don't suppose that an 11 hits you, does it?
It does not. I
Okay.
nimbly duck out of the way.
Very good. All right, passing Jacob, we're just going to go to... I mean, Jacob, these things come at you, and you just, like, your shield, like, you almost, like, bash your shield into them to catch them on the front, and you got 2 of these, like, basketball-sized boogers clinging to it.
I'm kind of wanting to see if I can quickly scrape one into a bag for future study.
We'll go down a quasi-initiative here momentarily if you want to do something like that. Hey,
It's okay.
Celine, so one of those is a crit,
Yes.
and does a 15 hit you otherwise?
No.
All right. Pardon me. So Celine, one of these things just, just ruptures out, and there's that moment where your flaw is, instead of running from a demon, you just stop and take notes on its anatomy. There's a fight or flight in you, and at the same time, your reasonable, your logical, for progress. Like, you just turn around and you're like, oh, and you just get a face full of green ick, and you are going to take.
No.
Some damage.
Whoops, and we're gonna add. Sorry, this was a critical hit. So you are gonna be oh geez, you're gonna take 11 bludgeoning damage.
Ow.
Ow.
And 6 psychic damage. As this thing, as it impacts you, and then you just feel it just creeping in and drawing, just like drawing on you, in a non-physical capacity. Like your brain seems to hurt as this thing is giving you a very oozy wet willy.
Face hugger.
And so Celine, you cannot breathe as this thing is affixed to your face. And what we'll do is, I got first dibs on introducing you to what's happening here. I'm just going to go down the line. We'll start with Mordecai, as you see on my screen. Mordecai, Casimir, Bright, Jacob, Celine.
Out of curiosity,
Yes.
does that technically qualify as a surprise round?
No, because, like, there was a suspicion that things are amiss. And so
Okay.
this is just kind of, you were already ready for something to happen, and it did, so it wasn't necessarily a surprise.
I mean,
That's
the
double
map
checking.
explains that.
I have to look out for my
Yep.
for my compatriots is all.
All right, so Mordecai, what would you like to do? 2 of these things are right next to you on the wall.
Oh, but all right.
Celine is like, it's like pulling, and it's just like not Play-Doh, like silly putty, or just like slime, except a little bit more elastic. Like it'll actually kind of like slap back, or like ooze back into shape.
All right. Big old butts. All right. This thing needs to come off her face. But I know for a fact that I can't rip it off. And I don't want to hit her. Would you allow me to drink a potion of Hill Giant Strength and then try to rip it off?
Sure. We're in initiative, quasi-narrative initiative. I'm fine with that.
Okay. So I am drinking a potion of Hill Giant Strength.
Okay.
I believe that gives me what strength score again? I don't know. I think it's like
19,
20,
I think, for Hill Giants.
19. Okay, we'll go with that.
Yeah, so you... Suddenly, Mordecai just bulges.
And I am going
Everywhere.
to rip this thing off of her face.
All right. Mordecai now just big, strong, like comes over with like just big old like sausage fingers and kind of... You want to come over and rip and tear? So I need you to make an athletics.
All right. That is
Ooh.
natural 20.
That is a... All right, so... Celine, through this, like, transparent green, you can see that Mordecai... Maybe it's like a lens thing, because this thing is all wibbly-wobbly. Mordecai looks really swollen right now. And just kind of comes at you with just these big, meaty fingers. And just... You feel some pressure on your face here, but just... And rips this thing off. And what I
your nose to yourself.
Sorry. No, it's fine. As that happens, Mordecai.
Mm-hmm. Also, I just looked it up. Hill Giant is strength score of 21. So.
Hey. So even more stronger. You're going to take 3 psychic damage as like you grip this thing, and as you pull it back and it's in your hand, this thing just sort of like it's like setting your nerve endings just tingling, like so it's causing just like a reaction, like it's interacting with your like almost like a fall asleep feeling.
And then I'm throwing it in the water.
Sure, you spike it into the water, and just with a kersploosh, water goes everywhere.
Hit the bottom of the floor and maybe actually die from bludgeoning damage.
And of course you guys have water walk, so you're covered in Rain-X, so the water just drips right off. Okay, sure, it splooshes. And it disappears into the water, maybe dissolved, maybe dead, but okay. Unless there's anything else, Mordecai, let's go to Casimir.
Okay. So what are the other ones, and how many are there?
Two of these little buddies sluiced their way out of one of the Fomorian corpses and tried to like extend like a tendril. Not like they're not tentacles per se, but they can like extend out, and they were trying to like get all up on.
You've seen reincarnated as a slime. You know what this is.
So there's only 2 visible?
That are next to you, yes. There are more that are visible around you, but there are 2 that are immediately in melee combat range with you.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to use my whirlwind attack, which lets me do a melee attack against both of them.
Okay.
So it's 17 and a 25.
Both of those are absolutely going to impact.
Are they still there?
From 6 to 1, 5 to yes, both of them. You've cut into them, and so they have like a little split in it, but they're still like they're little jello jigglers here, kind of oozing around.
Okay, does this stack with extra attack?
The whirlwind says use your action to make a melee attack, so extra attack is its own thing, I think.
Yeah. It's a separate ability.
So you would get one. You'd get one more with this. One more normal.
If you're proccing whirlwind attack, then no, because you're technically not taking the attack action. You're taking a special action to make a whirlwind attack.
Okay.
So you wouldn't even have to whirlwind attack in that case. You could just make a normal attack action and make 2 attacks as you would normally.
Okay.
Whirlwind's
fine.
more for if you've got like 3 or more enemies within 5 feet of you.
Yeah, I was hoping I had more.
Well, you got 2. You landed a blow on each of them. What would you like to do
Yeah.
now?
Just checking something.
You have bonus action.
Bonus?
I'm not going to do anything else then.
Sure. Okay.
'Cause I don't use my spell yet.
All right. We're over to Bright. Bright, 2 of these things tried to fly at you here. Instead you got out of the way and they just sort of like we'll say that they like landed on this rock, like they overshot you, and you got 2 of these things that are on the rock behind you. You do have a little bit of distance. You do have a little bit of a distance between them. We'll say it's about a 5-foot step between you and them. What would you like to do?
I don't want to fight those. I want to fight a different one.
Sure.
So maybe there's the one that missed Celine.
Okay. Yeah. So the one that missed Celine would probably just be like at her feet here. She jumped out of the way. It tried to go for a short shot, and it just sort of like bloop, plopped right there.
Okay. Yeah, I want to aim at that one, and I will use the old standard.
Firebolt?
Oh,
Uh-oh.
hooray! That's my firebolt rolls.
Okay, so you aim, and for a second, the reflecting water kind of made you go cross-eyed, and your firebolt hisses into the moving water, and you do not successfully land damage on this thing.
Oh, that's all for me.
Okay, Jacob. 2 of these things just sort of, they came out of the body, and they're like on your shield. As I narrated it, what would you like to do?
Well, first and foremost, I have no idea. Has anybody ever seen something like this?
Never.
I don't think so. Have I ever seen something like this?
Closest I've seen the sandal throw.
There are creatures that are broadly referred to as oozes. These would seem to qualify as being oozy. So broadly,
that's what I initially thought when I was holding it in the first place, but it wasn't burning. So apparently it.
It's a psychic ooze?
Yes, but well, you said they were coming out of the walls. Are they coming out of like very small?
No,
crevices,
no, they're not coming out of the walls. They actually emerged from the Fomorians. I was just being cheeky and saying that one of them looked like it came out of the rock that the Fomorian was sitting on.
I just wanted to be sure.
When all the rest of them were emerging from various. Yeah. All right, there we go.
Episode 69. Well,
We all know where this is going.
I'm going to take one. I'm going to stuff it in a bag.
Sure. Okay. Make an athletics check, Jacob. 18? Absolutely. All right, so like it's on your shield. I mean, I'll even count that as an item interaction because you're just sort of like, and you're gonna stuff it into a bag. You still got one on your shield. Do you want to just like, you want to scrape it off on something? Do you want to like charge into the wall? Do you want to save it for later?
I think I'm gonna have to end up getting rid of this one, but I'll keep the other one.
All right.
Might be useful.
The one that you handle, it tingles and it deals 2 psychic damage to you.
Okay. I can hear Mrs. Griswold already screaming about not touching her apple pies.
But you can take an action. Yeah, you've had an item interaction here. If you don't want the other one, you could just take your hammer and go if you want.
I think that's exactly what's gonna happen.
Sure. All right, bang your shield. All 3 of those are gonna hit.
Very well then.
and you will do a very good job of turning this thing into a fine green mist.
Don't inhale, kids.
So now we it's good advice. Celine, you can breathe again. You no longer have schmutz on your face. What would you like to do? You have one of these things that's down by your feet. Bright tried to tag it for you, but ended up getting the water.
How many are close to me?
If we're talking melee, there's one. If we're talking within 30 feet of you, then many.
Alright, so first thing I'll do is I'll go and move up to attack the one currently in melee.
Sure. I mean, it's just right there at your feet.
Yep, I'm gonna attack it with the Sunblade.
That'll hit.
And I am now, because those come back on a short rest, I'm gonna touch of death that.
Sure.
So this will be 12 plus 8, 12 radiant plus, wow, absolute max damage. 27 and 8 is 35 points of necrotic damage and 12 radiant damage for 47 or 1.
Sure. The sunblade extends, and you jam it down into this thing at your feet, and you light it up because it is translucent, and so the light's like pouring through it, and then there's just this infusion, like this wave of necrotic energy, sort of like rides down, and you just see now like a swirling darkness as you're sort of like injecting this. You're like a virus. You're injecting this thing with your own biological goodies here. You're just like corrupting it and changing it as your necrotic pulse goes in, and the thing just kind of dissolves and is now being washed down with the water.
Yep. Second one, I'm gonna move up to one so that I'm in melee.
Sure. You can. There are two that are. Well, if you want, you can go down here, and there's two on the rock, and you can stand in front of. You can stand between the things in bright, or you can move over and stand next to Casimir, and there's two on Casimir.
I'll go over to bright.
Sure.
Stand between them and bright.
Sure.
And I'll swing at one with the Sunblade for my second. Actually, wait, do I get that? Oh no, I'm thinking of the wrong thing. Never mind that. The other thing I'll do, mine is not doing that. Instead, I'm bonus actioning and casting a spiritual weapon at level 2.
Gotcha.
Attack it with that.
Okay.
I forgot. Death clerks don't get extra attack.
Your.
It's good I didn't want to have to get out of the way.
Your spiritual weapon manifests, swipes down, and does in fact deal damage to one of the two blobs that's on the rock.
And it's gonna be taking wow, max damage again. Yeah, alright.
Alright. Nice poor man's crit. However, as this thing slices through, you do see it's left a mark, but it's still like quivering and wibbling around.
It's not dead, but
No.
I does a big chunk of damage to it, so that's fine. That is currently my turn.
It is mostly bisected. Mostly.
Mostly.
Yeah. Okay. Now we are going to have me do a couple things here, and the two that are on the rock where you were attacking here, they do not have to leave. They do not have to leave your threat range, as they are going to slide into the water, and then All right, so the first one, Bright, from below, you feel something wrap around your foot and kind of like squiggle up your ankle. And as you look down, one of these things is sort of it's encapsulating your leg up to your knee.
Would prefer if it didn't do that. That's all.
Okay.
do I take damage from that?
Yes. You are going to. Although, did it?
Oh my.
This is going to be 5 bludgeoning damage as it really wraps around your leg, almost like a to what we'd have like a very tight blood pressure cuff. And it is then going to deal 3 psychic damage to you, Bright.
Oh.
And your leg goes asleep there for a moment as you feel, or rather you don't feel, your nerves tingling.
Okay. I can live with that for now.
And then let's see. The other one is doing something. And we're gonna go over to Casimir. Casimir, you have 2. You've cut into both of them, and they vibrate angrily in your direction. And they're going to try throwing themselves at you once more. And you will do a nice little parry away. Maybe you can even like kind of smack one with the blunt end of your axe to send it further along here.
Mm-hmm.
I had a couple others, and let's see. I have one more that is going to come up your way, Casimir. However, this one is going to get you. No, it's not actually. There's something there's something coming up from the water. However, you just sort of like you step on it. No, go away. And I have 2 more that we're trying to engage with Mordecai. And Mordecai, you can get an attack of opportunity as they both fly out towards Casimir, seemingly ignoring you.
Come at me.
I'm gonna swing a rapier shot.
Sure.
With my edited strength, though, I'm gonna swing it with strength.
Yeah, you absolutely hit with that. All right. So, with a 23, you thrust your rapier into the quivering mound, and it takes damage. However, it is still moving, as it is not debilitated in any particular way. Aha! So, Casimir, one of them, the one that Mordecai like impales, sort of like sticks on the end of his rapier a little bit here, and it kind of like has to like splort its way off the end, and it kind of tumbles to the side where you can easily avoid it. And just when you look up, and I don't know, maybe you're gonna say something snarky towards Mordecai, you're just like, ah. And this one just absolutely tags you, and is going to deal on a critical hit 5 bludgeoning damage.
Snake eyes.
As you take Mordecai's goo to your face, and you're gonna take however, you are gonna take 7 psychic damage as this.
I drank that potion.
So yes, you will not
3.
take the full amount then.
7 reduced to 3 at that point.
And so thankfully, I mean, Mordecai prepared you for this, and you were ready. This thing was trying to be invasive, and it just got the tip. So we are now going to come back around to Mordecai. Mordecai, you have Casimir, who's covered in this green goo. Do you want to try and Mordecai smash again?
Sure.
Sure.
Rip it off.
Yeah, make an athletics check.
That's good.
Oh, let me see. This could be interesting. Oh. Would have been fun if I won. All right, so Mordecai, like you're pulling, and Casimir's face is just as it's hanging on, and he just has this extended like as it's just trying to grip onto Casimir, but it pulls away.
It's gonna stay like that.
Casimir, all your pores are cleansed. This was a very good like facial rip. However, you are Casimir. You can breathe once more. Not that you're out of breath for too long. Mordecai, you are going to take 1 psychic damage as once more your hand goes kind of numb. And what would you like to do with your winnings?
Throw it.
You want to spike it, or do you want to like?
Oh yeah, spike it.
All right, make another athletics.
All right.
Oh, all right. Sploosh, and just Mordecai, your spray goes everywhere. Casimir, though, you're protected from water, so it just sort of bloop, bloop, drips down. And okay, it is removed from combat? Question mark. Casimir, we're gonna come over to you.
How many around me this time?
You have one. One overshot you. Yeah. Oh no! Wait, hang on. No. You have 3. Never mind. Because the 2 missed you, and you kind of got out of the way, and then one of Mordecai's was trying to go over, and
So now we're all in the.
all right, whirlwind.
Okay.
Pew pew
I
pew.
updated this so it has my dueling damage as well.
Okay.
First one.
Hits. Ooh, double crit.
Second one.
Destroy.
Were the first 2 the ones that were already damaged?
Yeah. Well, we're gonna treat your first 2 as ones that you had already tagged with your attack.
Or wait, is that only once? Let me double check.
Once per turn.
That's once per turn. So the 5, not the 3.
However, it does proc for the crit. It does proc.
It was the first one though.
Oh yeah, it is the first one. So yeah, it'll be the 5.
Not like you need to overkill these things.
Yep.
Yeah, now, there is a deadly
So
kind
lame.
of kill like overkill.
Overkill.
Yes,
And
overkill.
I should have done
Maximum
this first.
overkill.
The one that is still. Actually, no, I'm not going to use my spells. These don't need it.
Okay. So the first one you cleave in half. The second one that you got that double crit, the 28 and 28 on, this thing just absolutely just evaporates under your attack. Like the blade catches it, and somehow like with the air pressure following your blade, you sort of like you get like a bubble and a vacuum effect as the thing like rapidly like inflates and then is like is then just like vacuumed out, and it just sort of implodes on itself with the might of your battle axe swing. And then the third one, you come down and sploosh into the water, and unfortunately you're not going to hit with that one. All right, Bright, we're over to you. What are you doing?
So, are there any left that haven't been hit yet?
That haven't been the one on your leg hasn't been hit because you had 2 on the rock, and one of them was tagged by Celine.
So, since it's stuck to me, would I have advantage on an attack against it?
Yes, but it's also occupying. It's like occupying your space too. So depending on the circumstances, you might share damage with it, depending on what you want to do.
Well, what I'd like to do is cast Shocking Grasp, except I'd like to Shocking Grasp it with my leg.
Already touching.
Just yeah. Let's have you make a just make an intelligence check, like a spell casting check, to see if you can reroute your. Oh yeah. All right. So Bright, you want to make your leg nerves come back from being deadened here, and so you course up. You redirect the electricity through your body. Oh, it tingles. You lift your leg and the thing just quivers. And go ahead and you get advantage on this attack. So
Okay.
we'll see if it's just Oh yeah. All right. And go ahead and deal your damage.
11.
Okay.
Oh, that's not very good.
So it does, and as you're there, and then like as you're holding your leg up, it does kind of drop off, and while it is kind of animated because it's still like blub 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 as it's like disengaging from your leg, but it does plop into the water beneath you.
Okay. All right, I guess that's all.
All right. Jacob, you have one that's wiggling in a bag. You have Mordecai over here that's coming over and is just crushing these slimes. Bright is standing behind you. Why is her leg up in the air? I thought y'all didn't have to use the bathroom here. And
Well,
That's
forward.
dogs, not gnomes.
all right.
I'm confused.
I am not a fire hydrant.
Bright, that is not the kind of thing you do in a public place.
All right, I'll.
There is still you can move over. There's still one of these goos over by Casimir.
Is that the only one left? Sorry, I'm losing track of how many.
There is. That's the only one that's obviously visible. Well, yeah, that's the only one that's. No, I'm sorry. There's one on the rock, so you could just take a short little jaunt over here, or you have plenty of movement where you could just come over and tag the one that Casimir's going for.
Casimir's one is the one I'm going for.
Sure.
Swing, bada bada.
Hit, miss.
Ugh.
Okay. You drop the hammer, and this thing once more just it nebulizes into an emerald fog.
I'm going to bash it into cube form.
No, we're now going to come over to Celine. Celine, there is the one that was hanging onto Bright kind of plorped into the water, but there is still the one that is here on the rock that you impaled.
Yep. Question.
Sure.
Are there a set of two that are within 5 feet of each other?
Not that you can see, no. Because
Not that I can see.
There's the one here. There's some that have slipped into the water, but there's they're like blending in. Like they're effectively like maybe invisible or something as they're in this moving reflective water in these lighting conditions. So there's the one that's just kind of quivering in front of you that your scythe cut into.
Well, that one as a bonus actually could take the
wait, was
another
it though?
scythe to the face.
I might be double counting, but still, if you want to scythe, if you want to scythe a slime, I'm not going to stop you. So go ahead and roll it. This would be the last one anyway. So we'll roll it. 18 absolutely hits.
And damage.
And all right, the spiritual weapon does force damage, correct? Or do you do something creepy as a necro cleric?
Nah, force damage.
Okay, sure.
The creepy stuff comes with melee attacks and things of that nature.
All right, so the force damage comes through, and it's disrupting the whatever the gelatinous like cohesion this thing has had, and it just kind of melts like warm jello, just all over the rock and down into the water.
Okay.
This seemingly has taken care of the oozes.
I know I did see a couple slip into the water, so I'm gonna stay alert.
Okay.
And
Same.
I'm going to ready an action and chill touch if I see two that are within 5 feet of each other, or one jumps out. I'm going to ready a chill touch for that,
Okay.
and I can target both of them if they're within 5 feet of each other, thanks to Reaper.
Okay.
And that is it.
Alrighty. So you're on alert here, and nothing in the immediacy happens. Nothing reaches up from the water. Nothing else seems to ooze or pour out of the Fomorians. The Fomorians have stopped moving again. And
Your rapier ready.
what we'll do is, why don't we get up and take our break in this moment, and when we come back, we'll, I don't know, you can sit here and wait, you can go backwards, you can go forwards, but you can tell me how you want to proceed after this. And for all of you out in the audience, let's get up, stretch, get a drink or a snack. We'll be back in about 10 minutes. I have 12:48 a.m., so I guess we'll be back, let's make it 12 minutes. We'll be back at 1.